Marketing awards celebrate successes in customer service or marketing services and techniques in the challenging small railroad industry. Each year, several Class II and Class III railroads are recognized for their efforts in designing and enacting innovative and successful marketing initiatives in the small railroad industry. Awardees should give particular focus to how the program helped to improve customer service. Small Railroad Factor evaluates the railroad's ability to use the unique characteristics of a short line or regional railroad to develop new business while maintaining existing customers. Work successfully with economic development authorities and or Class I railroads. Be a positive economic factor in the community. Establish strong relationships with the community and its shippers. Customer Service Factor showcases the railroad's ability to identify customer needs, shape railroad services to meet those needs, react to market conditions with innovative and workable solutions. The Success Factor evaluates how well the railroad has translated marketing concepts and proposals into solid results in order to gain and keep new and or expanded business opportunities. Conventional wisdom would not suggest betting on developing a short haul to serve a coal-fired power plant in the east using 3 railroads to develop long-term business. However, these 3 railroads did just that. The 3 railroads moved pelletized lime from Graymont Lime at Pleasant Gap, Pennsylvania, to the huge Homer City generating station at Homer City, Pennsylvania.
It is a huge power plant. It is a huge economic engine for the community, and for us on the railroad, it's a really good news story. Adding a couple thousand carloads on an annualized basis going forward, and keeping a power plant that burns coal in business.
Homer City Generating Station added scrubbers to 2 units at a cost of over $750 million. And also built a 120-car rail yard and roughly 12,000 feet of track.
A couple of big challenges. Number one was we had to pin down a service schedule. We're supplying a power plant that has to have fuel, and the lime that's going into this project is part of the scrubber system of the coal electrical generation using coal. And so as a result, they cannot be without material. So the scheduling was extremely important. And we had to work closely with the Buffalo and Pittsburgh and Norfolk Southern in the middle to come up with a schedule.
Graymont Line, the shipper, built a kiln and 2,800 feet of in-plant track to support production, and also secured a private covered hopper fleet of 90 cars.
Well, Graymont Lime is a major employer in the Center County region in Pennsylvania, and this ensures the longevity of their facility. It's jobs for them. For us, our Nittany and Baltimore Railroad is a bit of a seasonal railroad. And what's interesting is we seem to be very busy in the spring and the fall. And this traffic is going to balance us out, whereas we used to be busy spring and fall, the peak consumption of the power plant of the lime is over the winter and then in the coldest part of the winter and the warmest part of summer. So it really helps balance out our traffic flow, which is really good for our railroad and our scheduling and operations.
The BPRR laid 4,600 feet of track and rebuilt the bridge to allow commingling of lime and coal cars.
Well, what it's going to do is it's going to sustain jobs on our railroad, sustain jobs in the community. Without the scrubbers, the power plant would have closed. I mean, not only do we lose in the community those jobs and all the support jobs, but we lose the railroad jobs as well.
The 3 railroads cover the 190-mile haul with 45-car trains operating on a 3.5-day schedule. These trains will deliver more than 3,000 cars annually of pelletized lime to Homer City.
I just wanted to, thank Todd and his group at the Nittany Bald Eagle. They were instrumental in getting the project secured. They originate the traffic and handed off to Norfolk Southern. Obviously, they were the intermediate carrier, and they were extremely helpful in getting this project secured. But I just wanted to say thanks to all those, and without them, we couldn't have got this project on rail.
The main thing is perseverance and also cooperation, because we had to cooperate on this project, otherwise it wouldn't have been successful. And it's been fun and a real education to participate in it.
Please welcome Kevin Bowser, Vice President Sales and Marketing from G&W, and Todd Hunter, Director of Marketing and Sales, North Shore Railroad Company, to the stage.
The impetus of the project was our drive to diversify our traffic base. Traditionally, we were heavily dependent on Illinois Basin coal, and we all understand where coal's at. So we've had about a 10-year drive to diversify our traffic base, and we've done quite well in your traditional carload commodities. But we noticed there was quite a bit of traffic that comes out of Chicago, which is kind of the intermodal hub of North America, that would come into central Indiana, and the question we asked ourselves was how could we participate in that? And the upside there is it gives the shippers in central Indiana a direct route from the Pacific, like the Asian countries, both ways, import and export. And then the other environmental side to it is you take 100, let's call it 100 to 110,000 truckloads a year off of I-65, which is the route between Indianapolis and Chicago, so there's no downside to that. But what really drove it was trying to diversify our traffic base and get into something that we traditionally had not been involved in.
The INRD invested $2.5 million to upgrade facilities, including construction of a 2-track intermodal pad, each track measuring 1,400 feet, and a 5-car container yard at its Senate Avenue terminal. This bonded facility is open 6 days a week and is within a day's drive of 80% of U.S. consumers.
We had great support from the Indiana Economic Development folks, from the city of Indianapolis. It was very interesting when we got out to meet what we thought would be our prospective shippers, just how much of a desire there was to have a direct rail route into Indianapolis. Anything they can do to speed their traffic up and avoid having to spend a lot of money on long drayage moves up to Chicago is a good thing. So we thought it would be a good project, but within the first couple months we really knew we had a good project. And what really drives it is you have to have a good Class 1 partner. And with CN and the routes to Vancouver and Prince Rupert into the Midwest, it really made a good fit for us.
CN and INRD interchange at Newton, Illinois, 6 days a week. Containers move from Shanghai, China to Indianapolis via the port of Prince Rupert, British Columbia in 21.5 days on average. This is the fastest overall transit time in the industry.
Culturally, for forever, everybody brought their products off the West Coast into Chicago, unloaded them from the train, and just trucked them into central Indiana. And that's just how business had been done for, well, forever. And so we had to kind of change a mindset and get folks like your freight forwarders and your beneficial cargo owners in the market to understand there is another product available and there's a value to it. And and we had to commit to some pretty aggressive service commitments coming from China, and with our partner with CN, we've been able to hit those. So it kind of sells itself right now.
Volume has shattered expectations. 12,563 containers were handled in 2014, the first full year of service. 17,233 containers moved in 2015. 18,000 are expected in 2016. Without this service, all of these would have been moved by truck from distant intermodal terminals.
When we first sat down and thought about the idea, let's call it 2 or 3 years ago, it was just conceptual. We didn't really know what we were getting into, and throughout the whole process, all we've gotten is positive feedback from CN folks, from beneficial cargo owners, from freight forwarders, from the city. We have yet to find someone that has been a negative on this project, which is pretty rare to have something like that happen. So we kind of look back and say, you know, it was a good idea, and it really was a good idea.
Please welcome Peter Mills, President and CEO of Indiana Railroad, to the stage.
Its latest rapid response example is the railroad's Old Forge warehouse near Scranton, Pennsylvania. In April 2015, a valued RBMN customer said it had outgrown the warehouse it was using to store wood pulp and needed a new warehouse within a month. Furthermore, the new warehouse needed to be located where the wood pulp could be delivered on a next-day basis to a large paper products mill on the RBMN.
The biggest challenge was time. We had to do this in a little over 4 weeks. We had to find a building. We found an old building that was largely unused, had a rail siding. Much of the rail siding was under up to 5 feet of dirt, hadn't been used for decades. We had to completely refurbish the warehouse. We had to put in a new rail door. Today's high-roof boxcars wouldn't fit. So it was just one challenge after another, and we were able to get it all done within a little over 4 weeks and start handling our customers' business.
Not finding anything immediately available and not wanting to lose several hundred cars of business to truck, the railroad remembered a long, unused, overgrown 1,100-foot siding into a partially vacant industrial plant. The railroad leased the building, made extensive repairs and improvements to it and the track in order to meet the customer's quality standards, and also purchased 20 boxcars to handle the outbound wood pulp to the paper products mill. All of this was accomplished within the customer's 4-week window.
Well, the impact was twofold. We were able to retain a large amount of business that we were in jeopardy of losing as a railroad, and not only retain that business, but we've been able to grow the business in the 9 months since this warehouse has been in operation. We've brought on new customers, we've hired employees. The warehouse is run 100% by railroad employees and is managed by our railroad. So we've created a lot of additional jobs. Our customers are very pleased with our operation.
The Old Forge warehouse operation, which includes an inventory control system linked to the customer, is controlled, managed, and staffed by employees. Over 350 carloads were handled during the first 6 months of operation.
So this is the third transload terminal we've constructed in a little over 3 years. So it's become an important part of our business.
Please welcome Dennis Schaefer, Vice President of Business Development of Reading and Northern, to our stage.